Hey guys, what is going on? The RCWR Show here once again. It is a special post-after show. It's a yearly tradition we've been doing here on the RCWR Show, covering fallout from the WWE Hall of Fame ceremony. Now, before anybody asks me, yes, I will be watching the Ring of Honor New Japan Pro Wrestling G1 Supercard show. I have it recording on the DVR. Longtime listeners know, though, when it comes to the WWE Hall of Fame ceremony, it's one of my favorite times out of the year. I love talking about it, and there's a lot to talk about with regards to this year's ceremony. But for those of you that are looking for a G1 Super Show recap, like I said, I will be watching it pretty much after I get done with this broadcast for you guys. And I believe sometime in the wee hours of the morning, I will probably, I don't know if I'll go live. We'll see. I may end up going live once the G1 show is over. For me, at least. I think it's getting ready to end right now. But once it wraps up, I will definitely, via DVR, I'll definitely upload a little something and give you guys my thoughts about it. But for now, kick on back. We're talking about the WWE Hall of Fame ceremony. For a lot of people, it was kind of a coin flip. For some, it was, okay, do I really want to check out G1 or do I want to watch the Hall of Fame ceremony? I think if it was a case where you maybe decided I wanted to watch the Hall of Fame ceremony first and come back to the G1 show later, I think you played it rather smart, because Lord knows by the time the encore gets ready to come on back on the WWE Network, I'm talking about the Hall of Fame ceremony, when they get ready to do that encore, there's going to be some serious editing. And rightfully so, because you had a couple of areas that were, okay. And let's address the elephant in the room right now, because we have a lot of people that are going to be seeing this stream, and they're going to be seeing the title of this, and they're going to want to know what the hell happened, right? So in case you missed it, you didn't check out your favorite wrestling news website or whatever, you're just now coming in and we're pretty much giving it to you first. Bret Hart, yes, bullshit you not, no misleading title whatsoever. Bret Hart was, I don't even know if you want to call it attacked, because to call it attacked would mean that someone was trying to cause physical harm to you, and they were striking you, whether it's with their fists or with a weapon, what have you. That would be a form of attack, right? What you could definitely say, though, and I definitely think this matches up to it a bit more, Bret Hart was assaulted by a deranged fan at tonight's Hall of Fame ceremony, right? There's Bret Hart, Natty, and like I said on the RCWR show earlier this week, I said as far as the speeches that I'm looking forward to, and the speeches that's definitely going to be a tearjerker, I said the Bret Hart Natty speech, that's going to be a tearjerker. There's going to be so many emotions just left and right, because you're thinking about who all should be right up there at that podium, right along with Bret and Jim, that's no longer there with us. And I made the whole claim that, hey, the Hart Foundation going in, that's good, but it really should be the new Hart Foundation that should be going in to the WWE Hall of Fame. But I said, this is going to be one of those tearjerker speeches. It's going to be hard to keep the emotions in check, because you're just thinking about all of the people that's not there. And it really comes more down to earth when you realize that Bret Hart is pretty much all alone now, right? Everybody that he's grown up with, right? Like, he is it. That's it. So I'm already going through the motions as he's just going down memory lane, talking about how he came that close to getting the whole cowboy Bret Hart gimmick, and how he was trying to pitch for him and Jim Neidhart to team up, call themselves the Hart Foundation, make him a heel instead, all this jazz. And all of a sudden we see this white guy with a Jamaican headband hat and fake black dreads, right? This is something I've seen that's available for sale on sites like Amazon, even Party City. I've seen it quite a few times over the years. If you feel a little reggae-ish, you want to get your reggae on or whatever, yeah, man, you can just go on sites like that and you can buy that whole setup. You can usually get it for, cheapest I've probably seen it is maybe 35 bucks. It's just basically a hat and dreads. So this deranged fan just came from like literally out of nowhere. You can see him as Bret is talking at the podium. You can see the fan come from what would be our left-hand side as we're watching the TV. So it would respectfully be Bret's right-hand side, and just kind of wraps his arms around Bret's waist, kind of like he was going for a tackle or whatever. And everything was just so fast that we get a black screen. It goes black for about, it feels like 10-15 seconds. It comes back up. The cameras are panning away over to a crowd section, so you're just seeing crowds' reactions and everything. And then just briefly it kind of comes back to the ring, but it's still a little bit chaotic. It goes back to the fans once again. So you're trying to figure out what exactly happened. And I can honestly tell you, as I was watching this in real time and I see this fan in my mind attacking Bret Hart, all I could do, especially when it faded to black, and I screamed. My woman will tell you, because she looks forward to the Hall of Fame ceremony as well. So she's in the other room and she's getting her paperwork together for taxes, but she's checking in on the Hall of Fame. And I scream real loud. I say, "Holy shit." And she goes, "What's wrong? What happened?" I say, "My God, somebody just attacked Bret Hart." She's like, "Are you serious?" I said, "Yes, somebody just attacked Bret Hart." Like, I bullshit you not. This is not scripted. Somebody attacked Bret Hart. And the screen is black, so she comes racing into the other room trying to see what the hell happened. And I was legitimately scared. I was mortified, trying to figure out what the hell exactly happened with Bret. Is he all right? Okay, you're talking to somebody that has almost 20 years of experience in security, in the security industry. I no longer work in security, but I know a thing or two about security. So I just have one of those type of mindsets. Whenever I go anywhere, I'm always just canvassing the area. I'm always looking at, okay, in the event of some type of an emergency, okay, you know, where are we going? Who's what? You know, I just have that mindset, right? No different than a detective that comes to a crime scene and he's trying to piece together everything as far as what happened to that victim that he's investigating as far as a homicide goes, right? I mean, I just have that type of mindset, okay? So just from a security standpoint, to see what had happened with Bret Hart, I couldn't help but go, oh my God. One, is he okay? And then once we saw that he was okay, he had a bunch of family members that were surrounding him and everything, you're going, okay, it looks like he's okay. Great. Glad that the man is all right. My second question now, where's this asshole that did what he did? You know, is he apprehended? You know, are we all right there? And then we kind of have an idea of what's going on. We really had to rely on social media to fill in the gaps of silence as far as a black screen goes. And I got to give a lot of props to those that were in attendance at the ceremony, that had shot really great footage, giving us as many angles as possible. So thank you to the fans that were there in attendance that showed us everything. We were able to see one of the first people to come in there to the aid of Bret Hart was Shane McMahon. Shane McMahon. I mean, that is Shane, mad respect, brother, mad respect. But I mean, you pretty much had the front row when you do a 360, that first front row all around the ring of WWE talent. I know Heath Slater was in there. Titus O'Neil was in there. I know I'm forgetting many other names of people that were in there. I know Drake Maverick. Drake Maverick really stood out to me as well, because once things, which still seemed very chaotic, we see Drake Maverick come up to the podium and he said, "Folks, we've got a ceremony going on here." I'm paraphrasing. "We've got a ceremony going on here. Let's get back to this. Let's not give that person any more attention." And it was nice how he really had commanded the scene and everything. I'm happy that Bret Hart is okay. But now, this is where things get very passionate for me. Okay, and this may be very unpopular, what I'm getting ready to say, for some fans, but you really have to understand where I'm coming from. Again, I have almost 20 years of experience in the security industry. I've held many positions where I've been a supervisor, a site supervisor. I've had men and women work under me, so I know what the hell I'm talking about. I've had to train people. In some cases, I've had to train people in how to use their firearms and all that, so I know exactly what I'm talking about. Okay, number one, whoever the security was that was in charge of tonight's event, they need to be fired. That is poor, poor, poor security. For somebody to be able to get that close to a talent. Now, we're lucky this time that it just so happens this fan, to our knowledge, until we learn more information, but let's just look at physically how Bret Hart is doing. Thank God that he didn't get stabbed. He didn't get shot, right? Thank God something like that did not happen. But for somebody to be able to get that close to a talent, no. Whoever the security was that was in charge of that, they need to be let go. And if it's a case where the security is basically contracted from the stadium/arena, like whoever owns that stadium or whatever, or that arena, you know, if they basically are the ones that's flipping the bill for, you've seen them, CSC, event security, or whoever, Securitas, whoever, if they're in charge of the security being there, then if I'm the WWE, if I could give security advice to the WWE, I would say try to see if you can entertain the idea of having your own personal security be on the floor at these WWE Hall of Fame ceremonies. Okay? Now, if it was a case where it was in fact WWE's own security team that was manning the floors all the way around, and they're the ones that dropped the ball, it was actually WWE's own security that dropped the ball, then to that I say you need to tighten up your shit a lot better. A lot better, because that's just sloppy, hands down. Just from a security standpoint, that's just hands down very sloppy. Now, the other point that I want to bring up, as long as I have been doing my podcast, I've been doing my show since 2011. I've been one of the most vocal advocates in WWE. Stop doing these Hall of Fame ceremonies in front of fans, because they're hijacking the shows. They're trying to make it be all about them. They're trying to have their moments. They're trying to, you know, it's not about the talents that are getting inducted in the Hall of Fame. It's not about the speeches. For a lot of these guys, it is just about, hey, I paid my money. I get to do X, Y, Z. I can cheer. I can boo. It's like, no, this is not a Raw. This is not a SmackDown. This is not a pay-per-view. You clap, right? You give a standing ovation. That's it. You shut your mouth the rest of the time. That's what this is all about. It's about the Hall of Fame inductions. That's it. It's not about you having your moment, okay? And I've always said, because a lot of the fan reactions has gotten out of hand. You've seen it with your own two eyes. If you watch the Hall of Fame ceremony tonight, you see the part where John Cena was trying to give a very, what I thought, eloquent speech about Sue Atchison and all of the great outreach that she's done over the years. But what happens? It keeps getting hijacked, and you get the Cena sucks and all this other crap, right? Bullshit. It's bullshit. But I've been saying for years, WWE, stop doing the Hall of Fame ceremonies in front of fans. I know why you're doing it. We all know why. You're doing it because there's great money-making opportunities for you to, you know, how can you not capitalize on it? The money is right there. Where I've always had an issue is, one, just from a security standpoint, things could potentially get out of hand. And with what had went down tonight, it reaffirms that. And people need to understand the history of WWE doing their respected Hall of Fame ceremonies, and also many other wrestling promotions that would do Hall of Fame ceremonies as well. Truth be told, and a lot of you all, I'm going to educate you all real quick. A lot of your favorite promotions, including WWE, there used to be a time where these Hall of Fame ceremonies, they did not used to be televised. And on top of not only being televised, they used to be done in a private gathering. Almost like a lodge, a brotherhood type of thing, right? That's how it would go down. And there really would not be any cameras. There would not be any members of the press. It would just pretty much be an exclusive, very private, invitational gathering only. That's how it used to be. Now, I'm not saying that a company like WWE needs to go back to those lengths. But based on what I saw tonight, my biggest fear came true just from a security standpoint. And just overall, what I have been saying for years now, the fans have been hijacking these shows. Stop doing these shows for the fans. Let these Hall of Fame ceremonies exclusively be for the talent that's being inducted in the Hall of Fame. Extend the invitation to the Hall of Fame inductees' family members to be there. The roster of talent themselves and their respected families, and members of the media, so they can document and report it through all of their respected outlets. That's it. You can still televise it. You can still do everything else, but that's pretty much how you do it, right? I understand why a company like WWE is doing what they're doing, because they know that, wow, to think about it, man, if we can get this arena on this night and we can have an NXT show here and we can come on back less than 24 hours later, we can have a Hall of Fame ceremony here, or we can get even more money. I get that. But what is it going to take to finally take a step back and say, you know what, is it really worth it? And seeing what went down tonight with Bret Hart, that should be a serious eye opener. And to those of you on social media that were saying, you know what, this very well could be the nail in the coffin that WWE really tries to stop having fans be at these ceremonies. I think if I'm going to make a bold prediction, if I can just go with my gut instinct, I'm telling you what I personally would like to see. I'm telling you what I personally would like to see as far as what could possibly happen with the WWE if it was me in charge. Okay. And for those of you that's not thinking from a security standpoint and things of that nature, that's why I'm trying to enlighten you. All right. I'm not being a dick. I'm not being harsh. You just got to look at what's going on with today's times. It ain't no different than the shit that went down with 9/11. You think that our security checkpoints at airports and everything is all still on point now, stronger than ever after 9/11? Look this up for yourself when you need a read. There was a lady that was able to get past airport security. I don't know how many times. She did not pay for a ticket, and she was successfully able to get past security checkpoints, never got checked for a plane ticket, and she was able to get on an airplane and go to wherever it was that she was going to, successfully able to land at the place that she was able to go to. And then only then, upon arriving at her destination and it's time for her to check out and everything, did finally somebody do their freaking job and go, something doesn't quite look right with this individual. What's going on here? And she did this more than once. More than once. If you live in North America, you know that now more than ever, just from a security standpoint, you always got to make sure your shit is heightened, right? That's the gist of what I'm talking about. And you would think anybody that saw what went down tonight, or just hearing what I'm talking about tonight, has got to be able to use common sense and go, well, yeah, you know what, 2019, with everything that we have in technology, yeah, you know what, something like that should have not happened. I'm telling you what I personally would like to see happen. What most likely will happen is that WWE will probably beef up the guards. Most likely. It's possible that they could limit the amount of fans that are able to come to these events so that they can have an even better grasp on, okay, you know, better crowd control in a nutshell, right? So, you know, I wouldn't be surprised if a scenario had occurred where, okay, just hypothetically speaking, let's say originally when it comes to these Hall of Fame ceremonies, let's say originally, I'll just throw out some bullshit number, 800 people. We'll accept 800 people to come to the Hall of Fame ceremony. Well, to get better crowd management, well, maybe you can crop that down to 500 or 400. I'm looking at those things as something WWE may possibly do in the very near future. So I would think that things will definitely be drastically different by next year. I don't think that the WWE is going to just stop cold turkey and just no more fans. I don't think they're going to do that. Now, if Bret had got seriously injured, gunshot, stab, or whatever, then we wouldn't even be having this discussion right now. without a shadow of doubt, they definitely would just, okay, that's it. No more fans allowed at these ceremonies. Okay. And to what Voltarian Can is saying in the chat, Voltarian Chan is saying they need more guards. The place was, it really was. And it's so funny because when the Hall of Fame ceremony had first opened up, you're seeing the layout and you're going, okay, yeah, it's a little bit cheap. They really could have done a little bit better with the way they were setting this up for the Hall of Fame, but okay, whatever. I thought it was overall a simplistic stage design that they had set up. And quite honestly, it honestly made me say, why didn't they think of this a lot sooner? Because, okay, you've got the stage, the talent comes out, they have their nice entrance, they walk down the ramp, they get into a ring one last time, and boom, there's a podium so they can address the fans. That's brilliant. You guys should have thought of that a lot sooner, right? It seems rather late than ever, but okay, all right, cool. But as soon as I'm seeing the layout, I'm looking, I'm going, okay, nice, kind of wide open. Where's the security? Hope they're on point. And I shook it off. And then the shit with Bret Hart happened. And it just was, oh my God, oh, okay, crazy. But no, I seriously believe that what I said just a couple of seconds ago, that's going to be the most likely scenario, is that WWE is going to limit the amount of tickets that they sell to fans at these Hall of Fame ceremonies. Beef up the security. Like I said, look for, and this would be my challenge to colleagues that are wrestling journalists and things of that nature. Shout out to you, buddies. You all know who you all I interact with on a regular basis. Do some good investigating and try to figure out who was at fault security wise. Was it WWE's own security staff at fault for this fuck up? Or was it a case where the security that is normally there for all sporting entertainment events, was it maybe that security company that dropped the ball? Like I said, if it was the security company that dropped the ball, then I would say look for WWE to go on ahead and see about having their own personal security there for future ceremonial events. I would even dare say whenever they come back to that arena to do events, I wouldn't be surprised if it's just something kind of ongoing. If it was in fact a security company issue, I wouldn't be surprised if WWE says, no, we got it right here. We'll take care of the ring. We got it. You guys go wherever else, right? But I'm glad that Bret Hart is okay when it's all said and done. I really, really am. Godspeed. It was overall a really great speech. It was nice walking down memory lane. I just couldn't help but feel for Natty because, I mean, come on, you know, that was her dad, and you could just tell how much that relationship with her father really meant to her and everything. But, you know, once things had finally picked back up and got things, you know, got moving along in a more positive direction, I thought they rebounded nicely with their speech. Definitely an emotional night though. And to the knuckleheads that were saying, oh, that thing with Bret Hart, that was staged, and God, please, are you that goddamn gullible? Really, are you that goddamn gullible? No, no. We're gonna waste that type of energy, we're gonna waste that type of a spot and all that for our Bret? Really? Like, come on. No, I'm sorry. You guys are nice though. I love you all. I respect you all tremendously, but no, you guys are way off on that one. And my challenge to anybody that does not believe that what they saw tonight was real, all you got to do is your own respected homework. Once the guy's name is put out there, and that's going to happen within less than 24 hours. Once the guy's name is put out there, you already know where the ceremony took place tonight. Once you have his first and last name, it's going to be very easy to just look up the city public records to see if, in fact, that individual was put in the system. And you'll be able to see the charges and everything. No shit. So no doubt that man is going to be banned for life from all WWE sporting events across North America. But it may also resort in a situation where WWE could bring some type of more legal actions against him. It just really depends. I'm sure they're probably going to weigh in all their options. Something else that probably is going to get a little bit overlooked, and it shouldn't. And I actually want to share a link with you guys right now. And yes, Sean, that's exactly where I was getting at right now. Dash Wilder is the man of the night. Dash Wilder had got in some serious freaking blows on this idiot that had jumped the freaking ring. And if you guys did not see that, I got a link for you guys already in Discord. Shout out to you guys that's in the Discord chat now. And for you guys in the YouTube chat, I just posted the link just now. You can see it for yourself, but there's so many different angles. That's awesome. So as a group of guys are taking this idiot out of the ring, you see Dash Wilder, who just walks up to this guy, almost kind of like, hey guys, let me help you out, man, you piece of shit. And Dash Wilder just goes in business for himself, and just while he has his left arm wrapped around dude's head, he just goes in with the right fist, and he just wham, 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 and walks gingerly back over to his seat. I'm going, my God, dude, are you freaking serious? Now, I see some people are kind of concerned about what Dash Wilder had did, just from a legal standpoint. Some kind of feel as though maybe he might have exposed himself to a potential lawsuit or whatever like that. I don't think so. I don't think so, because when you read that ticket, you go into these sporting events or whatever, you know, it clearly states, right, as far as liability and all that goes. Now, one could maybe kind of make the argument, well, the guy was already apprehended. He was already on his way out of the arena. He was pretty much already in custody. He was getting ready to be taken away. You know, why the overkill? Why did this guy need to just walk up to him and just assault him or whatever like that? No. As far as I'm concerned, and you know what? If this fan, first of all, I think once this fan has had a moment to clear his head and he wakes up the next day, he's going to realize what a bonehead fucking move he had did. And I do not see this fan trying to bring any type of legal ramifications against Dash Wilder or the WWE. I think that if there's any part of him that has some type of common sense, just the shame, the embarrassment, and now that his face and all that is on social media. And that's the beautiful thing about social media, man. Oh, I pray to God this dude does not work and has a really good job, and you know, his family, and I pray to God that it doesn't go to the lengths that it's going to go, because now that his face is pretty much out there, and it's just a matter of time before a name matches up to that face. That's his life as he know it. That is his life as he knows it. So that fan really has to ask himself, was it worth it? Was it worth making it be about you and your moment? Was it really worth it? Because now, on top of being banned from future WWE live events, possible legal ramifications or whatever from WWE as well, you right? May take you to court. I don't know, you know, but they have some options, right? So on top of all that, your employer finds out, and now you're going to be out of a job. So now there goes your steady income. So now you can't go to these nice little wrestling events with that nice premium money that you paid X amount for, right? For your seats and all that, right? If you have a wife and you got kids, boneheaded move right there. So, I mean, just a huge domino effect. We all have seen this so many times with social media. It's not even funny. It's not even funny, you know? So that's a lot to look at, but I don't think anything is going to be happening to Dash Wilder as a result of what he freaking did. And you know what? A lot of the footage that's out there, it's so freaking grainy. It's so freaking grainy that it's going to be a little bit hard to, was that in fact Dash Wilder? We all know that it was Dash Wilder. We've watched it enough. We have an idea of what he looks like, right? But some of the footage is a little bit, I can't really say for certain. Not really sure. Want to give a shout out to my good friend, the evil genius of professional wrestling, Titus Machiavelli. me and him were going back and forth about some of this stuff that had happened here. And I think Titus is, hang on a second here. Yeah, we just showed that. Yep, that's the footage. Let me look. I'm trying to see if there's something new. Yeah, it's a little bit grainy, but you can kind of tell that it is Dash Wilder when it's all said and done. And see, Titus, shout out to you, buddy. If Bret was a work, what would be the payoff? There isn't one. It wouldn't make sense. That's exactly what I'm saying, brother. Seriously, that's my challenge to anybody else that's thinking Bret went in the business for himself. Like, what is the serious payoff? Bret's monetarily wise, he already has the money. He already has the popularity. Like, what more does he need from this? There really is not any whatsoever. And, you know, if it turns out that there is, without a shadow of doubt, undisputed, clear footage that shows that it's Dash Wilder, let me tell you something, man. We've heard so many stories from wrestlers in the past where they say, oh man, one day I just had enough and I had got into it with so-and-so and Vince McMahon had heard about it. All of a sudden I was Vince McMahon's best friend. Hell, Joey Styles, when he finally had enough of freaking, what's his face, JBL, he beat the shit out of him. All of a sudden he won brownie points with Vince McMahon. Two of them was pretty freaking cool or whatever. I think when it's all said and done, look, man, and this is something that's really being overlooked. To see the amount of people that came to Bret Hart's aid, not even thinking, not even once just going, what if this guy has something? Not me, not me. Nobody was even, it was just instant reaction. Hey man, what if one of our own? That's our brother. That's our family. One of our own is being attacked. Just to see the flock of people that came up here, you know, it was like a frat, right? Nah, when it's all said and done, if there is even more evidence that's out there that clearly shows that it was in fact Dash Wilder, we know it is. I'm just saying, if there's, here it is. It's nice and clear. 60 frames per second, you know. What is it? I don't know the definition. The 1080p, right? Like, it's 1080p, 60 frames per second. What do you say now? Vince McMahon's just gonna be like, brother, I got you covered. Whatever your fines are, whatever, I got you covered. We're gonna settle this, whatever. A little bit of a bonehead move on his part after the guy was apprehended, yes. But I don't think the fan is going to even go as far as some of you guys are thinking. I think just the embarrassment of what went down tonight is enough as it is. And I agree with Carson. Carson said you have to be so dumb to attack someone from WWE. The fan is going to get sued big time. Yeah, he is big time, big time. All right, so we spent more than enough time on that. Those were the main meat and potatoes of what all had went down tonight. I do want to move on. I want to talk about other moments that came about from the Hall of Fame. We're pretty much giving you the meat and potatoes right now. I do want to go ahead and talk about the closer of the night. I know we're kind of going a little bit out of order, but since we're talking about the shock and the awe moments and the what the hell, right? How about that DX night? How about the way things ended with DX and Triple H taking shots at freaking AEW and just independent wrestling as a whole? I legitimately want to know, because we got a decent amount of people that's checking out the stream right now. Welcome. Please, if you haven't done so, make sure you smash the like button, share and all that. And if you're new, welcome. Do hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on all the great content that comes your way on a weekly basis. We're firing it up here all this week. We got WrestleMania coming up. We'll get into the programming notes in a little bit, but yes, I want to know legitimately from you fans that appreciate wrestling from all promotions, how did it make you feel that watched the Hall of Fame tonight to hear Triple H be the main, if you want to call him an asshole, we'll give him that title. But how did it make you feel to hear him take a massive shit on AEW and take a massive shit on independent wrestling? And for those of you that did not watch yet, where it came in, right? And on the one hand, you go, damn, Triple H is so savage. Like, on the one hand, you go, there's that Triple H I miss from back in the day. There's that Triple H I miss that could be very witty, that could be funny, and had some excellent timing with his wisecracks and everything. And look, did it make me laugh? God, yes, it made me laugh. But at the same time, I couldn't help but go, damn. So Hunter, how you really feel about AEW and what's going on with independent wrestling as a whole? How do you really feel, Hunter? Like, please tell us, because you're not being any more blatant than how you are right now. And at one point, I got it in the notes right here. And we're not recapping speeches as far as we're not doing any of that shit. We did that many years ago, and that was a snore fest. We're not doing that. We learned our lesson a long time ago. But I did take a couple of notes that I thought was of great interest here. And let me pull this up here while I got it here. Look at my notes. No, that's my books. I don't want my books. I want my notes. Where's my notes? Hang on here, guys. Got my notes here. All this time I've spent on my iPad. There we go. Okay, so we see that Billy Gunn was actually there, and as many of us know, Billy Gunn, he is now working with the AEW. He's involved with them in a behind-the-scenes capacity, so his role is definitely important and everything, right? So we see this part early on where Triple H is basically saying, hey, Vince McMahon has this sheet of paper in the back, and it says, one of the things that you do not do when it comes to your Hall of Fame acceptance speech and everything, you do not mention Vince McMahon. And everybody just starts poking fun with that. Well, we can't say Vince McMahon. And Hunter's like, yeah, you cannot say Vince McMahon. You can't say his name. He's like, really? We can't say it? What? Why not? Why can't we say his name? You just can't say his name. That's just how it is. Plus, it's going to make him come on out, and we don't need that. And so they kept going back and forth. But finally, it gets to Billy Gunn. And Billy Gunn says, well, he can't fire me. I don't work here. And so the fans start to chant AEW. And Triple H, comedic timing, just the wits of this guy. One thing I've always loved about him, right? The wits. He comes right back and he says, don't think for 1 second he wouldn't buy that piss ant company just to fire you. And that made the fans pop. And you hear that, you go, God damn. So without even mentioning AEW, without even mentioning the name, there's the first burial right there. Oh my God, what the fucking hell, man. So you follow up with that later on during the speech. You get a part where I think it was Sean Waltman, X-Pac, that maybe was talking. You all would have to re-jog my memory a bit. But I remember Shawn Michaels kind of came in because all the boys, they were poking fun a little bit at Sean Waltman because he was nervous, and hey, rightfully so. All right, rightfully so. But there was this one part where Shawn Michaels comes in and he says some part about appreciate you here and, you know, being all in or whatever. And there's another jab at AEW. You're going, God damn, right? And so you couldn't help now but kind of feel, all right, so did we invite Billy Gunn here just to freaking take ribs at AEW? Did we really just do that? Like, what the hell, right? But see, that's the other thing. That's the other thing that I love about this whole thing is that Triple H and them, they know how to play the game. They know how to play the game. Everybody that has this whole AEW versus WWE, death to WWE and all this other stuff. And yet you saw everybody get together some weeks back for Ric Flair's birthday party. I mean, his birthday did not hit, I don't think, until officially that Monday where they brought him on Raw and Batista had attacked him in that backstage segment. But they did a pre-birthday celebration party for him that respective weekend, if you guys remember. And you see all the wonderful people that's there. You see AEW's Chris Jericho, and everybody just knew how to come on together and everything, right? Now, some people could say, but that was more of a personal engagement. What about, you know, what's happening right now? You know, I really do not think, when you get down to the heart of the matter, there's any type of animosity between WWE and AEW. I honestly believe that the higher ups in WWE are legitimately looking at freaking AEW and are going, let's see what you can do. Much like the approach that they had with Impact Wrestling. It was, let's see what you can do. Okay? And so if I were a betting man, I would think that's how WWE is going to be looking at this. Look, the WWE higher ups, they're not stupid. They know the money that is behind AEW. Seriously, right? But what looks good on paper is taking jabs at AEW. It just looks good because it seems like the popular thing to do. It seems like if you want to be in with the in crowd and you want to look like, you know, hey, look at me and get high fives, making fun of AEW, right? That's how you got to freaking do it. So, you know, I laughed at his jokes, but I couldn't really help but feel bad for Billy Gunn, because what should just solely be a moment about him being inducted, you had a couple of jabs there at AEW. And then if that wasn't bad enough, there was one part during the show where there was a "too sweet" chant, and Triple H was very passionate about that. He said, yeah, you know, about that, you know, "too sweet." Yeah, that's great. But that whole woo woo, like, I never did like that crap. I mean, to each its own, whatever floats your boat. But I never did like that crap. So it's like, wow. So now we're taking a shot at the indie wrestling fans that are chanting stuff like that. You also think about the Bullet Club, and right, a lot of Bullet Clubs Bullet Club shirts have been sold over the years, right? A lot of Bullet Club shirts have been sold over the years. So you couldn't really help but just, and I loved it. It was great how he played it, because Triple H is now gonna have, I don't know the terminology y'all like to use, the smarks or the marks. I hate those terms, but he's gonna have those fans be on the computer taking a hot, massive shit on him, right? Meanwhile, every single time you turn around, Triple H is watching some tape on some guy from New Japan, or he's heard about some guy from Ring of Honor or whatever promotion, and he's like, oh, I like this guy. I want to bring him in. Yeah, I want him. Let's see if we can sign him, right? So this dude is really not just a student of the game, but he has his hand on everything that's happening with the other promotions. I just personally think it's funny how people are gonna just be taking a massive shit on him and everything. But shots fired, especially with the whole just Bullet Club, AEW, Cody, the Young Bucks, just shots fired. Now it's pretty much, hey, Cody in the gang, how y'all gonna counter that? Let's see what y'all are gonna be doing. And you know, to AEW, if I could just say one constructive criticism, and maybe y'all can correct me, because if they are doing something, I don't know nothing about it, but all these other wrestling promotions that are doing something this WrestleMania weekend, and other than what AEW did technically with Pro Wrestling Tees at the C2E2 event, to my knowledge, unless y'all know something, they ain't doing nothing this WrestleMania weekend. It's like, how do you not have AEW in some capacity do a little something? Some of your stars that have signed with the promotion, right? How do you not have them team up to work with some other promotion that's doing something this weekend, and just say it's a AEW or whoever collaboration, right? Just kind of gives you a little bit of something to think about, right? I'm not bashing, I'm just saying I think it's kind of odd that, you know, you want to keep putting your name out there until finally it's time for you to do your own respected event. Do you not? Like, how could you not capitalize on WrestleMania weekend? If I'm wrong and they are doing something, let me and everybody else know in the chat. We definitely would appreciate that. They showed a lot of love to the ninth wonder of the world, China, during the speech. I could just see Sean Waltman get all emotional and choked up, and I was right there with him. I know that he and the relationship that he had with Joni, it was a long one. It had a few ups, a lot of downs, but you could tell, even though he's moved on with his life the best way that he knows how, and he's found a new love, and he's got so many good things going on in his life right now, not to mention the sobriety and being drug free and everything to a degree sobriety. I don't really think drinking was really the issue, right? It was really the hard drugs that was the issue for him. So knock on wood that he's taking it one day at a time, and that's how you should. But you could tell that her death still, it's rocking him to a fucking core, right? My God, did you guys see Joni's sister though? Does she not look like Joni or what? And I could just remember briefly there was a period where China had blonde hair and looked just like her. It was eerie. It was very eerie. I mean, the jaw and just everything looked just like her. Man, that was really creepy. It was creeping me out big time. I like what Sean had said about, hey, you know, we got this women's memorial battle royal, or, well, maybe we should kind of change the name a little bit in her honor. Maybe we should do a China memorial battle royal. What do you guys think? And I love that idea. I love that idea. I have been trying to see WWE do something with China for years now, after her passing. You know, somehow try to recognize her, do some type of a China award or something. And I really believe, not next year or anything like that. I don't think a China memorial match is going to happen. Not next year. I think maybe, if anything, maybe something can kind of get going 3 years tops. I could see something like that happening, but to feel the legit emotions from not only Sean Waltman, but Triple H as well, you know, that really had got to me. It was really nice to hear those guys talk about her contributions and, you know, hey, you know, she's finally in. That's great. I love that. I love that. I ate that up. Almost kind of shed a tear, to be perfectly honest with you. I remember me and my best friend, Brian, shout out to Brian. We had an opportunity many years back, while China was still alive. As a matter of fact, while she was still part of the WWE, we had a opportunity. Actually, you know what? Was it? Yes. While she was still with the WWE, we had an opportunity. At this point, we were in our college years. We were in our first year in college. And we had an opportunity to go see China. And I sadly could not go and see her. She was, and for you guys that live in the DMV, DC, Maryland, Virginia, you'll notice probably pretty well, if you remember the Crown Books that was in Northwest DC up around DuPont Circle, she actually did a book signing there. And I remember on top of the book signing, I think there was a newest issue of Playboy that came out that she was on. My memory is a little bit fuzzy as far as the years and all that, but I definitely remember it was in our first year during college. And I sadly couldn't go because I was working at the library at the time of the college. And he was like, oh, dude, are you going? I said, nah, I got to work today. He's like, ah, man. And so I gave him my Playboy copy, still in shrink wrap, for the sole purpose of him getting her to autograph it. That was the only time I wanted it opened, was so that she could sign it, put it back in the bag. That's it. And I said, what are you going to do? He said, well, I'm going to have her sign my copy as well, but I also made this drawing of her. And Brian, you got to let me know if you still got that drawing, buddy, because I was impressed with how you did that. He had this kick-ass black and white ink drawing of China. And it was so fucking gorgeous. When I saw it, I said, oh, dude, she's going to fucking love it. He was like, you think so? I was like, yeah, she's going to love it. Trust me. Tell her I said hello. And so he went and he came back later that day, because I remember I was working in the library for like about maybe 5 hours. So he actually came on back. And I was like, how was it? And he was like, oh, she is such a sweetheart. She was very kind to me. She saw the drawing and my God, she complimented me big time. She must have stared at it for a long time. You know, I kind of held up the line a little bit because of that drawing. I'm like, really? He was like, yeah, you know, it wasn't that long, but she really liked what she had saw. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. And he showed me. So we had both of our Playboy copies signed. And she signed his drawing as well. And I would hope Brian not only kept tabs on that drawing of his, but hopefully he's framed it by now. But that's the thing that I kept hearing about her over the years, is that she was just a warm sweetheart, had a really nice warm personality and everything. And it sucks that she was not there with us tonight to accept that induction, because it really would have been great to hear her speech. If there is one thing that I kind of did not like about when Triple H was talking about her, and I would be set on fire if I did not mention this, and I'm not sure how many of you I had picked up on this, but at one point Hunter had directed his attention towards Chyna's sister, and he said, the real China is here now. And you're like, okay. But then he said it again. And you're going, what exactly does that mean? Right? What, you know, and I couldn't help but go, okay, so what are we saying here? Are we saying the drug-free China is now here in the Hall of Fame? You know, what exactly do we mean by that? You know, why do we have to say that twice? Right? Why are we emphasizing that twice? Why can't we just say she's here, finally, where she belongs, just what she's always wanted? Sorry it couldn't happen sooner. Like, if anything, you know, sorry it couldn't happen sooner. Why are we saying the real her is here now? That just kind of rubbed me the wrong way. I'm not really sure if you guys had picked up on that, but now that I've said that and you're up for watching it again, at least just that part, I just couldn't help but kind of cringe a little bit and tense up hearing that, because it's kind of like, what are you trying to say? And I mean, look, did she have her problems? Yes. When she wanted to go into the Hall of Fame, could we legitimately say, well, at the point where she was in her life, should she have gone into the Hall of Fame? No, because she was still dealing with some serious demons. So, I mean, I don't really know if that is maybe what Hunter was referring to, but I kind of just wish he didn't go in that direction, right? But other than that, a lot of slapstick comedy, a lot of haha moments, classic dick jokes. I love how they showed the women that used to lift their shirts up to show their boobies to them back in their young DX days. And they had this montage of some of the girls, because apparently Billy Gunn kept tabs on some. No, Sean Waltman kept tabs on some of the women over the years. And now you see basically a before after, and now you see sagging boobs. And I like how one of them took a dig at Michael Hayes. Oh no, I recognize that person. I recognize that body. That's Michael P.S. Hayes. And you go, damn, that's just wrong. That's just wrong on so many levels. But they really had brought the energy to what was, without a doubt, overall, a short night for a Hall of Fame ceremony. I got to give WWE a lot of credit. We heard the rumblings that, hey, what went down last year, never again. We need to make this ceremony be as short as humanly possible. To WWE's credit, they did pretty good. Correct me if I'm wrong. The event went off at 10:30 p.m. Eastern, I think, just about. So it came on at 7, so 8, 9, 10. So almost a 3.5 hour, 3 hours, maybe 40 minutes of a Hall of Fame ceremony. I'll take that. That's good. I will fucking take it. No problem. A lot of good stuff. All of them look pretty good. Looks like Shawn Michaels kind of growing his hair out a little bit. You can't really tell because he got his hat on and everything. But overall, great speech by DX. Was nice on a personal as I get ready to move on to the other speeches, and I'm going to be lightning fast with those other speeches. It was nice to finally really get a good grasp on Paul Levesque, the man behind the Triple H character. You know, so many times, even when you see him media conference calls, Facebook or whatever, it's kind of hard to get a really good grasp on Paul Levesque, right? The Stone Cold podcast gave you a little bit of insight to a certain degree, but you still kind of had to look at that at face value and just be like, Triple H, Triple H, Triple H. But this was probably one of those rarest moments where I really kind of got welcomed to a little bit of a peek into the man behind the character, right? The man behind the suit. And I liked what I was seeing from the man himself. The family and him getting a bit emotional and putting over his parents. The moment that really kind of tugged at my heart a little bit was when he acknowledged his girls and Stephanie just looking on saying, I love you. And all right, Triple H wasn't quite ready to say I love you back right then and there. Okay, we're getting to see a little bit of the man himself, but we're not going to get that whole full blown. But, you know, you couldn't help but say, that's nice. Now I kind of have a little bit of an idea what to expect. And I think we all have now a little bit of an idea what we can expect when it comes time for him to go in just as a solo act. And you know what's going to happen. You know what's going to happen. Shout out to Brian Fahey. Brian Fahey? I'm going to call you BF. He said, with regards to a question I asked earlier about what's going on with AEW not capitalizing on WrestleMania weekend in some capacity, take this for what it's worth. And BF, if you have a source link, that would be appreciated as well. But according to BF, he said that AEW said they want to stay away from WrestleMania weekend. And I think it's smart. They would be fighting for attention with all WWE and NXT. They are better off if they can make their own all-star event. All right, well, well, if that's really the case, I mean, I can't help but commend them. But at the same time, I just can't help but marketing is marketing. Branding is branding. You got to do what you got to do to continue to keep your name out there, keep the people talking, and keep them coming back for more. It's always about what other new content are you working on, where else can I get my hands on your shit, So, but I mean, if that's the approach that they're going to be taking, I mean, you know what, honestly, I say take your time, do it right, then rush and just be concerned with quantity over quality. And I'm not bothering pronouncing that last name. Your name is BF. Deal with it. Deal with it, brother. All right, let's get to the rest of these. I'm blazing through the rest of these. Those were the main two I wanted to just really spend time and emphasis on. And I do recognize a lot of you guys in the Discord and in the chat. So I'm definitely going to be showing you guys more love throughout the broadcast because I like what you guys are saying amongst each other there. So, first speech of the night. Let's jump right into that. Our first speech of the night. Jimmy Hart inducting the Honky Tonk Man, pretty much setting it up why this man is going into the WWE Hall of Fame and everything. The thing that really stood out to me with regards to the Honky Tonk Man, and hey, here he is once again on his way out the door, because he's in his golden years right now. Every day is not guaranteed. He can go out any moment, right? Well, here he is healing it up one more time. Not fucking once does the Honky Tonk Man give credit to Elvis Presley for inspiring him for his fucking gimmick. Seriously. I laughed my ass off at this freaking induction speech, right? So he tells this story, and I'm not going to go overkill with his story, right? You can hear what he has to say, but the bullet points, he basically talks about how he was at a certain juncture with his career. He just remembers he needed to have it be freshened up. He needed to go in a new direction and fast or whatever, and he just really wasn't sure what to do with himself, but he had this vision in his head of these black sideburns and this slick black hair, and he knew how his outfit was going to look, and everything was in his head, but he didn't have a name for it. And then one day he's in his car and he hears this song that plays on the radio. The name of the song was Honky Tonk Man, right? Not his song. It was some whatever song, right? I wish he would have credited the name of the musician since we're giving credit, right? But he goes, okay, that's the name. That's the name right there. That's what I'm going to run with, right? Pretty much everything else was history. By the time he hooks up with the WWE, right, as far as he's concerned, WWE, they took everything that was going on with his gimmick, and they basically polished it up, shined it up real good, and, add in Jimmy Hart and the music, and, I'm just a honky tonk man. I'm cool. I'm cocky. I'm bad. Hate it, everybody, And I'm just sitting there watching this guy's promo, and I couldn't help but say, motherfucker, if there was ever a time for you to say, hey, come on, it's obvious, right? Come on, I'm a big fan of Elvis Presley, right? And I just couldn't help but say, so is he doing this because he does not want possibly the Elvis Presley estate? He doesn't want the estate of Elvis Presley coming after him in the WWE. I mean, is that why we're not going to go on ahead and just acknowledge it? What the hell here? And I wasn't overanalyzing it, so I don't want anybody to say I was overanalyzing it. I'm just looking at him, and he's giving all of these, I can't end my speech without thinking blah, 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 and I can't end it without thinking blah, blah, blah. I talked about how my girl a couple of weeks ago, and she doesn't remember the Honky Tonk Man. She grew up on wrestling in the 80s and the 90s as well, but she does not remember the Honky Tonk Man. And I told you guys on a show some weeks back how one of the first times she saw the Honky Tonk Man, first thing out of her mouth, I bullshit you not, first thing out of her mouth, who's that bullshit Elvis Presley ripoff? And I go, that's the Honky Tonk Man. She goes, who? That's the Honky Tonk Man. She's like, oh, Elvis Presley light. I was like, yeah, pretty much. I was like, okay. And she starts to hear his little promos and all that. And she's like, that's a Elvis Presley ripoff. I'm like, yeah, pretty much. And so here we are. We fast forward to tonight. We're hearing his speech. She's sitting there right along with me. And she goes, still can't give credit to the king, huh? I said, yeah, pretty much. Like, okay, so that's pretty much it. But decent speech. Had me laughing, though. I got to give a shout out to BF one more time. He did source the interview. It was an interview that Cody Rhodes had gave with regards to why they are not taking advantage of the whole WrestleMania weekend and everything. All right, that's it. As long as you got a source, brother, that's it. I don't need to be doing any plugging. The only plugging I'm interested in is self-branding. Anyway, can I get into another cheap plug, by the way? This episode of the RCWR Show is brought to you by some of our good friends over on Patreon. Do consider being a Patreon member. $5 a month. You get bonus audio, video content you won't be able to find anywhere else. Get access to our 30 with Lee series, reviewing movies of the past, present, hidden gems, so much more. You also get bonus audio, video content of the RCWR Show. Our other series, Wrestling with the Topics. Now that WrestleMania season is pretty much over and done with, me and the missus are going to be getting back on the saddle again, recording more episodes of Wrestling with the Topics for you all. So good time to be a Patreon member. You already have got a couple of hundred hours of audio available at your disposal right now. Patreon.com/RCWR Show. Things kick off for $5 a month. You also get exclusive access to our Discord server, so much more. Patreon.com/RCWR Show. Shout out to our Patreon members, Michael Wolf, Anthony Missionary Thomas, Wrestling Soup. Shout out to you, buddy. Hope you did okay. Checking in with Mish. Apparently he woke up in New Jersey, somewhere out in the wilderness. Chickens and roosters. Oh my! Wow, what the fuck's going on with you, dog? I stayed outside of New Jersey. I was Lincoln Tunnel. Stayed outside of Lincoln Tunnel at a nice hotel. Ordered carry out good ass crab ragoons. I recommend the crab ragoons. You know the hotel chain I'm talking about. Order the crab ragoons from the carry out. You'll thank me later. John Davis. I think we got all our shout outs out the way. Let's keep going. Stacy Keibler back in the WWE, technically. First time in 13 years, apparently. Time flies, and she still looks gorgeous as ever. She was there to induct her bestie, Tori Wilson, as they go back many, many, many years. Tori Wilson, you know what, man? I didn't do like some people. I know she was catching a lot of heat. A lot of fucking heat online about going into the WWE Hall of Fame. And as always, I've been noticing a pattern when it comes to these Hall of Fame ceremonies. There's always that one individual where the fans go, what the fuck? Why are they going in? Why isn't, insert name here, going into the WWE Hall of Fame? Why this fucker going in? It should be, insert name here, going into the Hall of Fame, right? So when the news of Tori Wilson had came about, I saw it with my own two eyes. People were livid. And I mean, if you were to ask the wrestling fan and me that goes back to the early 80s of watching wrestling, if you were to, yes, but you know what? I can't dwell, unlike some people, I can't dwell on things that's not in my control. I can't be having a cow over something of which, okay, I wasn't given an opportunity to cast a vote and let my voice be heard or whatever. It is what it is, and I gotta deal with it. Should they be in before? Probably not, but I gotta deal with things as it stands here and the now, right? So let me just go from there. And I gotta tell you, the little bit that I saw of her in her rebuttal on some podcasts and radio interviews, you know, she addressed the criticism. But, you know, to have her at the podium tonight, microphone hot, and she is just right. She killed it for me. She really killed it. She hit a home run with her induction speech, and I like how she just went in with this interesting journey of a story, and you really weren't sure where she was going, right? At least I wasn't sure where she was going, but for it to come out the way that it did, where she basically was taking a stab at the critics, I thought the way she had the speech was set up. And her speech, in a nutshell, she pretty much had talked about how she was in school one day. She was a young girl, and they pulled up a picture of her on the Titantron, and she looked as though maybe she was 10, 11, maybe even 12. Cute kid, you know. She looked like she had lost a tooth or whatever. Maybe something was getting ready to come back in or whatever. Had brown hair and everything. There was a kid that wrote her a little letter, I guess, asking her if, hey, you want to be my boyfriend? Because I choose you, Lisa, or whatever. And, you know, she was so ecstatic. She was nervous or whatever. And she remembers there was a couple of days or whatever where she was eating chocolate, candy, whatever she could find. Comes back to school, and the same guy that was interested in her said, "What's up, fatso?" Was poking fun at her weight and everything. And she made a promise to herself that day that that young boy named Terry would be eating his own damn words. And to Kaylin Kennedy in the back, hey, Kaylin, I'm sorry, would you prefer it if I said, oh, Stacy Keibler gave a very nice speech, and then we went to Miz and Maurice, and they had this moment where, and then Booker T and Harlem Heat, they had a really nice speech. Well, guys, that's it for me. Subscribe. If you don't like the stream, buddy, you can go check out somebody that'll give you the hookup in about 5 minutes or less. My name is Lee Sanders. You're checking out the RCWR Show, covering the latest in wrestling entertainment and beyond since 2011. I give you context. I give you clarity. I give you insight. Our motto of the show: keeping it honest, keeping it insightful, keeping it interactive. We're not going wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. If you want to read a fucking bullet point of pew, 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 pew in 3 minutes, go fucking ProWrestlingInc.com or IDon'tGiveAFuck.com, or give us your fucking money for MonetaryClicks.com or some shit. Matter of fact, here, we'll make the job even easier for you, buddy. Here you go. Here you go. You're dwelling. Here you go. Boom. You're kicked out. Enjoy the rest of your night. Now you don't have to worry about it. Now you ain't got to worry. You're good now. See? Simple as that. Anyway, before we were really interrupted, I love the story that she had told. All right. It was a great setup. There's a lot of guys that she had put over. One of the guys that I love that she put over big time was Fit Finlay. Fit Finlay, as far as she was concerned, was someone that was very instrumental early on, even way back in the WCW days, of women having the same opportunities as the men, going out there and performing and all that. And I like that nod that she gave to him. And pretty much she had said, hey, the reason why the women's revolution, if you want to call it that, is where it is today is because of the contributions that Finlay has been doing behind the scenes with the women. And that got him a huge ovation from the crowd and everything. So much so, I put a tweet out and I said, hey, don't get Fit over too much now. Because if we put Finlay over, that's going to upset some people, you know. After all, Stephanie McMahon is the face of the women's evolution. All right, so we can't really go in that direction, right? But no, I love the fact that she gave Fit Finlay the moment and everything. Also, trying to see what else here in my notes. You know, before I got interrupted by that rude asshole, Tori Wilson was basically talking about how a lot of the stuff that she did, was she the best? No. When it came to her in-ring work in particular, no, wasn't spot on. Some of the segments that she was involved in, horrific moments, were there botches? Yes, but she did what she did and continued to do what she did because she felt motivated. The fans kept her motivated. It was all about finding her confidence. even when she had moments when she didn't feel like she had any. It was all about going out there and just continuing to master the craft, continuing to believe in herself. And the biggest message that I took away from it was just having that self-confidence, right? Because there's only one person involved in defeat, right? It's you. You are your own worst enemy when it's all said and done. So I really like the positive message that she had put forth. And I mean, I can't just glaze over these Hall of Fame speeches without at least mentioning the bullet points. And you say that this is dwelling, you should see the vintage Hall of Fame post shows where word for word I used to talk about the speeches. Now I just give it to you raw bullet points and we keep it moving along. Legacy award segment, we pretty much saw all the inductees that were going in for that respected year. I do want to pull up the notes here, just give some quick bullet points on who these respected individuals are as far as their contributions to the business. Bruiser Brody, I should be no stranger to you guys with regards to Bruiser Brody, one of my favorite big men from back in the day. Definitely one of the originators, one of the innovators of the brawling style in the ring. Truly one of the best. SD Jones, Special Delivery Jones. I am a sucker for that dude. I just started learning up a little bit more about him in the past, I would say 2.5 years. I've always heard his name a lot in prior years, but he's somebody that I really started to gravitate towards. Wrestled during the 70s, 80s. He was at the very first WrestleMania, and he unfortunately had gained the dubious honor of being the man to lose in the quickest time, being pinned by King Kong Bundy in just 9 seconds. We also had Professor Toru Tanaka, who is a Japanese wrestling legend. He had a long, successful run in the WWF back in the 1960s. He also teamed with Mr. Fuji, and they had won on 3 occasions the WWF tag team titles while they were managed by Classy Freddie Blassie. Also, before there was Jack Tunney, we had an individual by the name of Sashi Shenma. He served as an on-screen president for the Worldwide Wrestling Federation from 1978 until 1984. He oversaw incidents like Bob Backlund losing the WWF title to Antonio Inoki in Japan. That reign, by the way, remains unrecognized by WWE to this very day. In case you guys want some fun trivia, there's your info right there. Joseph Cohen, who actually was in attendance tonight, he was given a separate ovation after the Legacy package video was shown. He enters the celebrity wing of the Hall of Fame. He is basically known for creating the Madison Square Garden network. So for you guys in the New York City area, you should know about that very well. And the move ultimately had helped broadcast the WWE product to many more home bases throughout the years. The domino effect and everything of what you're seeing today as far as how you're going about getting your WWE, be it on a network like the USA or now on its own respected digital network. You know, Joseph Cohen is the one that really was the granddaddy to get things up and running. Also, Primo Carnera. He was a boxer and wrestler of Italian origin. Wrestling career had began in the late 1940s, becoming one of the top draws for decades. He wrestled 120 matches. Get this, 120 matches, undefeated. Undefeated before Yvonne Robert bested him in Montreal. Carnera also held a rare pinfall victory against former world champion Ed Strangler Lewis. So those are all the people that had went into the Legacy wing. Oh, also can't forget about the beautiful and the lovely Luna Vachon. Luna Vachon also went in as well. Everybody should know about Luna. I shouldn't even need to elaborate more on who Luna is. Wahoo McDaniels. You Wahoo McDonald fans, that should make you very happy right there. Multiple time NWA champion, you name the promotion, he was there. If it was in the 70s and the 80s, Wahoo McDonald's probably most likely had passed through there. A bona fide, legitimate football star making the transition to being a pro wrestler. One of the greatest stories you ever heard about someone that had pure athleticism that was able to make that transition from football to being a wrestler. One of the greats right there. Jim Barnett, who was a promoter that owned the Georgia Championship Wrestling promotion and other promotions in Australia. He was involved in the business since the 1950s, and eventually he got to work behind the scenes for the WWF and WCW. Playboy Buddy Rose, pretty much know him if you checked out enough of early WWF and AEW days. You know, fun dude, I remember. So those are everybody that went into the legacy section of the WWE Hall of Fame for this year. So pretty good stuff. Other than that, see, we talked about all of the other main points. Who's left here? Brutus the Barber Beefcake. He got inducted by his good friend, the Hulkster. Look, in a nutshell, it's great that Hulk Hogan and Brutus are on good terms now, because we know things were pretty ugly with those two. Some years back, they were going back and forth. You got this rumor running around that apparently Brutus gave Hogan a blowjob or something, and I don't really want to touch any of that shit, but there was a lot of bad blood that was brewing between these two guys, so much so that Brutus had wrote a book and just going over some of that stuff, and you're like, wow. And it was so ugly, it got to the point where the Hulkster had threatened legal action against Brutus. He told him straight up, look, if you proceed to put this book out there, I will come down hard on you, right? And as soon as I said that, now all of a sudden, when it comes crashing down and it hurts inside, that's the lawsuit. No, seriously though, it was really bitter and very ugly between these two. And it's nice to see that they were able to bury the hatchet, and what was past is past. And honestly, for these guys to be at the age that they're at now in their 60s, that's great. You see all of these other wrestlers that's sadly leaving us, some way before their time, others that's just, okay, it is their time. There's just been so many. We've gotten pretty numb as a whole, as wrestling fans, as a wrestling community. We've gotten pretty numb now. And so to see that the Hulkster and Brutus, they're able to make peace, I love that. I love that's a good thing. Brutus cut a pretty good speech. I still recognized him. I was getting ready for the show. I was coming in and out of the room, and at one point I look up at the screen. I go, oh, wow, I still recognize him. Cool. He's beefy. All right, he's beefier. He's got the hair and everything, but hey, all right, I still recognize him. Cool. So he had a good speech. Nothing really too much really stood out to me, except the fact that him and Hulkster, it legitimately appears that they've buried the hatchet. So I'm happy for both men, actually. And hey, once again, Hulk Hogan in front of the camera. Now, let me clarify something here, because I don't need no damn dog. How you gonna be African American, right? And you gonna be all Hulk Hogan after what he said about our people. We need to better educate. We need to stimulate. We need to masturbate. Well, I'm trying to rhyme, but forgive me. Look, for the last time, and I wanted to go publicly on record. All right, I've said it many times. I want to address it again. What Hulk Hogan said that offended so many people, whether you were black or not. Just the fact that he said that N-word. Me, speaking as a brother, I'm offended. How offended am I? Ask me how offended am I? How offended am I? I'll tell you how offended am I. I got a poster, a signed poster by the Hulkster. Christmas, 2 years ago now. My girl surprised me with it for Christmas. And I was with the Hulkster thinking, you know, everybody makes mistakes, yada, yada, yada. Hey, who are we to... We've all done some heinous, fucked up shit that we wish we could take back. Some of us are deserving of second chances, you know, and we get it. Some of us should not be given a second chance, and we get it. We fuck up. We get a third chance. We fuck up. We get a fourth chance. You get what I'm saying? hearing how things went down at Extreme Rules, I want to say it was last year. Big E, Mark Henry and them, they came out and they pretty much had said, he ain't sorry. That poster I got 2 years ago is still in my attic this very day. And my girl says to me all the time, you should sell it. I say, well, one, if I am going to sell it, I'm going to wait till he's dead because I can get more money. Don't you think? Oh, yeah, that's true. I'm like, yeah, so I'm going to sell it. It's like, so you're never going to hang it up on your wall? It's like, he has to earn it in my eyes. And if you ask me where I am right now in 2019, as of this recording, that signed Hulk Hogan poster going on my wall of other signed celebrities you see behind me here, just a little bit, he still hasn't earned it. He hasn't earned his spot on my wall in my book. I appreciate his contributions that he's made for the business. No doubt. No doubt. Mount Rushmore? Fuck yeah. I will give the devil his due. But to get to that point where I put a signed poster of his on my wall, he does a meet and greet, and no. I need to be convinced, and I'm still not convinced. So I want that to really be documented, because so many times over the years since this has come about, whenever Hogan has popped up, if I see him doing something constructive, hey, good for you. How you gonna be black and... If I hear that line one more goddamn time, I'm telling you, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'll probably just blow my goddamn head off. No, not really. I'm not gonna do that. Let me stop. I'll just keep on smiling and moving along. Let's see. Dana Warrior gave one weird speech, man. It sounded like a 5-year-old wrote it with a crayon. As far as I was concerned, was happy to see John Cena out there, though, pretty much setting things up for Sue Atchison. It was a nice, good feel moment. It was nice hearing about the hard work that the WWE stars do and the partnership that they have with the Make-A-Wish Foundation. What is the record that John Cena is at right now with the wishes? I think it's 628 or something like that. Justin Bieber one time tried to claim he was the one that had the most, and she was one of the first to get on the phone and correct Justin Bieber. That was good. It was a good moment for her. She had a little bit of a hard time walking down the ramp. Looked like with her high heels on, she was going to fall any minute. But Rey Mysterio, being the knight in shiny armor, came to the rescue. But good speech there. Harlem Heat, that was the one I was really anticipating the most, aside from DX. And yeah, now some of you may say, well, what about the Hart Foundation? Hart Foundation, I thought that was going to be the most saddest speech. And it still was for me, because I was just reminded of everybody that is no longer with us. But for me, DX and Harlem Heat, those were my two really good feel of the moment speeches I was looking forward to the most. Harlem Heat, so now Booker T going in as a 2-time WWE Hall of Famer. Looks good on him, as well as that beard. I like seeing him grow out that beard more. Looks good on him. I'm happy that they went in for all of their contributions, but like I said on the show a couple of weeks back, I so wish that the late Sherry Martel was still with us to this very day, because, man, I just couldn't help but just look at the two of them, and all I could think about was Sherry Martel. That's all I could think about, because some of their most iconic moments she was incorporated with, man. She was right there, man, and I just couldn't help but go, oh, how my heart bleeds. It breaks so much, because she really should have been there with those guys, man. You know, and the last little bit of work we saw from her before she passed away, remember, we saw her do a little something with Kurt Angle on SmackDown, if y'all remember, and she still looked very recognizable, good as ever. Was doing the Heartbreak Kid Shawn Michaels version of Kurt Angle's theme, if you guys remember. Look it up on YouTube or Dailymotion when you get a chance. I loved hearing Booker T really take a step back and let his brother tell the story, because it's well documented that Stevie Ray was the one that wanted to be the pro wrestler, and Booker T just happened to tag along. Okay, well, that's what you're going to be doing. Well, I want to do it too. Shit, let's do it together. Come on. But they never, and see, this is something that I never did know about Harlem Heat. I never knew that they had aspirations to be single stars. They never intended to be a tag team. I never knew that in all my years. I never knew that. So it was nice learning a little something new from Stevie Ray and everything. And I like how whoever the promoter was that he was talking to, you know, showing him, I guess, pictures of his physique and everything. And somehow a picture of Booker T is in there. Hey, who's that? It's like, oh, that's my brother. Really? He wrestles too? Yeah. Wow, okay. But this is your brother? You never told me you had a brother? You're like, yeah, he's my brother. Okay, well, I think I got some. Hey, could you two maybe come on back next week? I think I might have something for both of you guys. Come on back. And it turns out, tag team. And pretty much everything else, history. And I got to give mad props to Stevie Ray, because Stevie Ray, he took time out during his speech and he gave acknowledgement to one Arn Anderson, and that got a standing ovation from the crowd. And everybody was kind of thinking, with the description that he put out there, maybe he was talking about Ric Flair, because he was talking about a guy shirtless, white pants, came out, big old Rolodex and gold chain, all that, and you're going, woo! Turns out it was Arn Anderson. But he talked about how instrumental Arn Anderson was and welcoming him and his brother in WCW and telling them to go out there, do their very best, and no matter what, he would have their back. And he learned about respect for the business in a nutshell. So it was really nice hearing from Stevie Ray, and Booker T really just saying, hey, I have been living my brother's dream for all of these years. It's time for me to now step out of that dream. It's time for me to wake up, right? And to Booker T's credit, he's been doing a phenomenal job. You know, what all he's been doing with ROW and what he's been doing for his people and his respective communities and trying to be a mayor and all that. I think what he's been doing so far, he's doing proud as far as stepping out of his brother's shadows. I think he's doing a really damn good job. But yes, Travis, without a shadow of a doubt, from WCW, yeah, man, one of the best tag team champions around from the WCW era. Yes, one of the best tag teams, period. Love those guys tremendously. But that was pretty much the WWE Hall of Fame in a nutshell, I would have to say. This was really enjoyable. I love the fact that they had cut back on it tremendously as far as the length, because last go round, that was some bullshit. That was pure fucking bullshit. If you guys want to pick my brain real quick, ask me a quick question while you got my attention, you can post a little something. But otherwise, I'm going to give a quick programming note. So we've got WrestleMania. That's going to be happening this Sunday, April the 7th. I will be coming on as soon as WrestleMania concludes. And hey, you know what? While I'm thinking about it, anybody in the Discord, if anybody in the Discord right now that's listening, if you want to get in and chime off on what you had thought about the Hall of Fame ceremony, you could do so real quick, while I'm also reading some more comments here in the YouTube chat. But yeah, we're going to come on as soon as WrestleMania wraps up. We'll be live on YouTube, all over the place. You know, we got a show app. It's in the Google Play Store. Just use the keywords, the RCWR Show. You'll see the RCWR Show app right there. It's cool stuff. It's good. I'm paying for this app myself, so go check it out, damn it. It's good stuff. And hit the like button, all right? You enjoyed the stream tonight. You had a good time. I always do the dirty work, so you guys don't have to. You know how I do it over here. Smash the like button. If you haven't subscribed, do subscribe so you don't miss out on all the great content we do for you here on a weekly basis. We do a little bit of everything for you guys. And there was something else I was getting ready to say. So aside from the WrestleMania after show, Monday, the Raw after WrestleMania, we're going to do a special Monday night edition of the RCWR Show as well. I'll be coming on as soon as Raw wraps up. So, Cody, what's up, Cody? How you been, brother? I know this isn't Hall of Fame related, but does anyone know if Ricochet was cleared for tomorrow? Good question. Good question. We'll know in a little bit. We should definitely know before WrestleMania. If the news ain't already out there, we should definitely know in a little bit. Steven, how you been, buddy? Shout out to you. Steven said he enjoyed the Hall of Fame ceremony. As far as he was concerned, it was all that. That's good. Let's see what else we got here in the chat here. Just blazing through the chat here. See what else we got here. I'm just going through. I see a little bit of AEW talk. I see some people were offended by, and I don't know why that comment was hidden. Because I did not hide that comment. Let's show that. There we go. It's more AEW talk, but for some reason that comment was hidden, and I don't know why. I see some people were definitely offended by Triple H taking some jabs at AEW there. Shout out to Eric. Eric said, new liked, subbed. Appreciate that. Beastmaster! What's up, Beastmaster? Beastmaster, you silly man. Beastmaster said AEW hired an openly transgendered wrestler. It's already dead. Dude, come on, man. I gotta show her some love too, man. Cause she's actually from the DMV. I actually gotta show her love. Nope, you alone on that one. Nope. Oh Lord, you a trip. Let's see what else we got here. Some of you all are already anticipating Cody Rhodes digs. Austin, Triple H digs was fantastic, hilarious stuff. King Larry, that was savage of him. Ouch. Carson Davis wants to see a big push for Dash Wilder after what he did to that dude tonight. I hear you, man. Let's see what else here. Going through some more comments here. Harry, that's what I want to know too. Who was the guy with the yellow pants that was punching that idiot fan? That's what I want to know as well. LLL, yes. Ronda's man was in there. He was also one of the first to get in there. That's very true. Very true. Let's see what else we got here. Just going through the rest here. Going through the rest. I think we're almost caught up in real time now. I was chatting with my buddy Titus, and we were talking about how fucking... I know he said, man, if Ronda would have been there, I said, fuck that. If Brock would have been there, that dude would have been dead. That's seriously. That's real talk. Brock would have killed that goddamn dude, man. Seriously. Brock would have killed that dude. You know it. You know it. You need security? All you need is Brock Lesnar. That's all you need. Let's see what else here. Yeah, major props to Shane. Yes, major props to Shane. Major props to Shane. Shane was the first person in there. Mad props to him. Checking on Twitter, making sure we're good before I end the stream for tonight. And yeah, we're actually good. Let me go to Facebook. I got to show some love to Facebook too, because I know some people were saying they would check out the show. So let me see if there's some comments on Facebook real quick, because I did see one or two interactions on Facebook. So hang on real quick here. Let me see what's going on here. Everybody's still shocked and awe. All right. We got a bunch of mad faces. Yeah, we had one knucklehead on Facebook that had said it was staged, but nah, it wasn't staged. All right, so let me go check out real-time comments one more time. And we're good. Okay, yeah, we're good. All right, so I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to end the stream on that note, which is good for me. All right, so for you G1 fans, I will be watching G1 like right now, even though it went off the air. I got it recording, so I'm going to check it out on the DVR. I'll probably upload something as soon as it wraps up. I mean, it just really depends on how I'm feeling. So I'll upload it. It won't be live. I'm just going to upload my thoughts on it. Be real quick. Wham, bam. Thank you, ma'am. And be done with it. Be kind, rewind. Check out previous episodes of the RCWR show you may have missed. If you wanted to know my thoughts on the NXT TakeOver event from Saturday night, that is available. The web stream is on the YouTube channel. Also, we have the audio version available on demand and on the downloads for your favorite listening platforms. Just use the keywords, the RCWR show. One more time, I'll be back with you guys tomorrow night, or less than 24 hours from now. It'll be our WrestleMania after show, so make sure you tune in for that one. That should be good. Thanks for staying up, and thanks for, as always, checking out these Hall of Fame ceremony shows. It gives me pleasure to be able to do these for you guys, because I know a lot of you guys maybe you're dealing with work or whatever. You just don't feel like sitting through such a long event. I always do appreciate you guys that take the time out and check out the after show. So let's do this again. Smash the like button, do subscribe, and I will catch you guys next go round. Adios.